6. The Wildebeests just haven't lost anything, and as you say, I think it's going to be detrimental that they don't start Dorkanator, despite the fact that he has the lowest goals per game ratio, the second lowest assists per game. That's not talking much, right? Because it's quite high compared to everyone else in the league, and so for him to be considered the lowest, right, despite having played 9 of the 10 games, he's been doing quite good for himself compared to everyone else in the league. So the Wildebeests are just looking really strong right now, and they look even stronger to take their division.
Definitely, they've set themselves up for a very easy second half of the season. These two teams, though, if you look at the stats, especially game winning percentage, they're the only two teams in the entire league who are above a 60% winning percentage. And as a matter of fact, they're also both above 70% winning percentage. So they have a very high octane. They're both scoring over one goal more than their opponents per game. And we'll look to see that clash tonight.
Yeah, the Wildebeests, though, scoring more goals and letting in just slightly a little bit more goals. The shooting differential is more on the Dragonflies side. The shots per game average is very much so on the Wildebeest sides. 9 shots for them per game compared to the 6 they allow. Meanwhile, the Dragonflies only shoot 8 per game and allow 6.8. So, yeah, it's very much so on the Wildebeest side. I expect them to outshoot the Dragonflies a lot. And is that going to be detrimental? Or are the saves per game? Because the Wildebeests are by far the lowest team, the second lowest team in terms of saves per game. Third lowest team, actually. Because the Cubs, they can't save a beach ball if they wanted to. And who is the other team that I saw? Oh, no, it was the Cubs. The Cubs can't stop a beach ball if they wanted to. Meanwhile, the Wildebeests, it's just because they don't let any shots on net.
Yeah, if you take a look, like as you were mentioning, the shots against per game and the goals against per game, the Dragonflies have by far the lowest opponent shooting percentage. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays with the Wildebeest's more high offensive style. We'll have to see how they can capitalize on that type of high offensive pressure and capitalize when they do get their own offensive pressure on the other end.
I also want to point out, look at the assists per game. Second highest in assists per game are the Quakes at 1.9. The Wildebeests are completely destroying this category at 2.34.
Yeah, that definitely shows. Sorry to cut you off, but that definitely shows in their play style. I think Raid could probably talk on that a little bit more, but they seem to be like very good at creating those passing plays and getting those infields to work, which for those who don't know is not something you necessarily see a whole lot of in Paladin. It's a lot more of corner centering and all that kind of thing. But I noticed with the Wildebeests and also the Hammerheads when we played them a couple of weeks ago, the Hammerheads have a very strong infield passing game, and we just could not stop that. And I noticed a lot of the same type of play from the Wildebeests as well when I was watching a couple of their games before the stream here. And I think if they can capitalize on that as well, that doesn't seem to be something that the Dragonflies necessarily have so strongly in their arsenal. So we'll see if the Wildebeests infield passing can give them the win tonight.
So the Dragonflies just got cut off of a 6-game winning streak. And what's funny about the Dragonflies is that they haven't been to Game 5 since the first week of play, November 12th. And so they haven't seen a Game 5 in a long time. They either win or they lose by sweep or Game 4. Meanwhile, the Wildebeests, their last 2 games have gone to Game 5 up against the Hammerheads. And once again, Roadrunners, the only team to have brought both of these teams to Game 5 pretty much. The Wildebeests are riding their 10-game winning streak, and they've only had 1 forfeit win. And so they haven't been gifted that many wins. They've really been dominating. But these last 2 games have been shaky up against a team that has rarely been in Game 5s. Who's got the upper hand here?
In my opinion, I think the Dragonflies certainly do have the upper hand here, and I will have to note though that like you mentioned in the last 2 games that they've every game has gone to Game 5 for the Wildebeests. That has a lot to do with the fact that one of their stars in Willy Wonka has missed the last couple of games due to a matter, which means that they were playing their sub, so they really were missing one of their dominant pieces, which meant that when they went against the stronger teams, the other teams were able to give them a good fight. And that's why I'm saying the Dragonflies tonight, because they aren't playing Dork, and the roster they've seen the most success with is Dorkinator, Wonka, and Aiden. And they're not running that roster. So they're subbing one of those players out, and in the past when they sub one of those players out, they struggle a little bit more. And this is by far the strongest team they've been against.
Talking about subs, we've got 2 of them on the channel. Thank you. Willy Wonka, we were just talking about you. And Tobu RL, for both of you, for your subscriptions. And thank you to Farrar for your subscription as well. Thank you to everyone who supports the channel. Very nice of you. Anything else do you want to bring up here? Because we've got ourselves quite a bit of time to kill.
Well, I'll add on to what Raid was saying there. He has his prediction for the Dragonflies. I think, for my end, though, I think I am still going to go with the Wildebeests in this game, mostly because they've just been so dominant. And even without Dork in the lineup, the fact that they have Willy Wonka back, and he will be one of their main fixtures, as Raid said, in their lineup. And I think having him back will give them a little bit of a competitive edge, although I think the Dragonflies will put up a good fight. And I don't think either way it will be a sweep, and probably won't be game 4 either. I would say this one will most likely go to game 5 in some regard. And we'll see if it lives up to the hype of that last game we saw just before this.
All right, well, let's talk about your predictions here. It's prediction time, ladies and gentlemen. Put your predictions in the chat. Hopefully soon our streamer will pop up with the stream chat who your predictions will go. You can use your channel points to choose who your bets are going to be on. Who are you betting on? Let's start with Cubics.
As I mentioned there, I think the Wildebeests are going to take it. Very close game though, and I think their offense that they have will just overpower the Dragonflies on defense overall. But I think it will be very close, and I think the Dragonflies will hold them to less goals than their stats would say.
And Raid, what is your prediction? Because I heard you really like the Dragonflies here.
As previously mentioned, my prediction 100% is for the Dragonflies to take this in 5. And I'm simply looking at the matchups. So on one end, we have Aiden, who's really good offensively on the Wildebeests. But then on the Dragonflies end, they have Shark, who is a very good defensive player and I think can do a good job of shutting him down. Whereas on the other hand of it, Hakun is a super really good offensive player on the Dragonflies. And if you look at this current Wildebeest roster, there isn't a super defensively focused player who can cover for him. And I think if Hakuna can get the chances that he's used to getting, there isn't that defensive rock on the Wildebeest side to be able to defend against it.
And that's some good saying from both of you. But both of you are saying game 5. It's just that you're choosing a different team here. Cooper not saying 3-1 for the Dragonflies. The Beasts 3-0, says Dirty. What are your predictions, ladies and gentlemen? Bring them in as we're still waiting for the prediction counter here to come in. Thank you to Raid and Cubics for joining us in the desk, or should I say the closet here, as we go to game number 1 for our series here up between the Wildebeests and Dragonflies. Dragonflies are going to be in purple, and Wildebeests are going to be in green. I'm going to be here with Almost Magic Mike. Once again, thank you to Raid and Cubics for coming in. Thank you to Captain Clutch for doing everything in the background. You're all awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
All right, well, down to the pitch we go, and I'm here with Magic Mike. How are you, my man?
I'm doing great. How about you, Quantum?
I'm doing great as well. And who do you have? You listened to both of these men argue about which team is going to win here. Both of them say game 5, and do you agree with that?
Yeah, I got to give it to the Wildebeests. I don't think it's going to go to a game 5, though. I do think it's going to go to a game 4. I think it'll be a little bit quicker. The Wildebeests are just too strong of a team, in my opinion, and I definitely could see them winning this game and maybe dropping one game, but it'll definitely be a close one, given as both these teams are outstanding overall.
All right, well, game number 1 is going to be underway here. We are going to have Aiden Willy Wonka and Motor, and on the other side, Joey, Hakuna, and Shark. I'm gonna give myself here to... I'm gonna say the Wildebeests. I can't go against a team that's won 10 straight games. Game number 1 is underway here, and oh wow, I won a lot of channel points there as I got a nice little banner there for myself at the top of the Twitch chat. It's great to see. As game number 1 is underway here, and what are your thoughts coming into this one? What needs to happen here for you to sway your opinion?
I mean, you got to come out hot here for the Dragonflies. If they give up a goal or two really quick off the bat, just like, quick play there from Aiden almost scoring off that 30 seconds in, the Dragonflies, they have to come out hot. They got to make sure that the Wildebeests know that they're not the top team. They can be challenged by just about anyone. And I believe we've seen that from the Roadrunners earlier on in the season. They were able to come out hot against them as well and bring them to a Game 5 and end up winning going to Game 5. So really just come out here hot and make sure you make your presence known as almost a shot in goal there from the Dragonflies.
Yeah, a lot has been going on right now, and a lot needs to happen here for things to fall in the right places. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can use your channel points now to tell us who you think is going to win this series. Is it going to be the Wildebeests? Is it going to be the Dragonflies? I put 5K on the Wildebeests, but the Dragonflies are currently winning. Oh, wait, never mind. It's an 8 to 6K right now with 7 people going for the Dragonflies, 3 on the side of the Wildebeests. Who do you have right now going? Because you did say Wildebeests here, but how much are you going to put down on this game?
I put down 3,000 on the Wildebeest. I'm trying to be a little bit more confident. I did get that first prediction right for the first series, but only put down 1,000, even though it was so close of a series and 2 amazing teams going at it, and great series to be able to watch and witness.
Now, a lot... Oh, someone put in 12K points, actually. That is quite an impressive amount on the Wildebeests here. And that's someone's entire fortune. They've been watching RLPC for quite a while. And it's going to be Shark Hacks who finds the first goal of this game. And it's a 1-0 game.
And the Dragonflies are just putting on so much pressure. They're just firing the shot directly at the net every single time. The Wildebeests already have 5 saves in total off of 6 shots from the Dragonflies. They're just trying to fire at the net as much as possible. They're not caring about any plays into the corner or any slow plays in that matter. They just want to get these shots on net, and that's going to be a comeback from the Wildebeests directly off the rip on that goal.
And we talked about Willy Wonka and his team missing him, and that's why, look at that redirect. Banger, he says, and he's not wrong.
And I think this is basically what all of us kind of predicted here. It's going to be a close series overall, and really seems like the Dragonflies could take this series right now, as they do have so much speed and so much momentum in the offensive zone.
Mm-hmm. And lucky for you guys, you don't have to predict how many games. You just have to predict who you think is going to win. Well, to anyone who put money on Dragonflies, you're going to get a big return if they win. And because that 12K submission there on the Wildebeests really hindered that. But listen, 7 to 8 in favor of the Dragonflies right now. So the 72-28% really doesn't give it justice because those channel points really screwed it to one way. 2 minutes left to go here, and that ball is going to go off of the side wall, finding the corner. Shark Hacks, his shot is on net. Everyone was in the offensive zone, and no one's on defense able to make that save.
Yeah, it was just a very risky play overall by the Wildebeests. They pushed up a little bit too far there, and you got to have a man back or someone that's able to get back as fast as possible. They went full out offensive pressure there, and unfortunately went out on the Dragonfly side of things.
And so we got ourselves a 2-1 game. Motor finds the ball up high in the air, and Willy Wonka, he's trying to be a little bit annoying there, but his fake is not going to find anything. And we're going to continue on here with a 2-1 lead with 100 seconds left to go here. As you said, the Dragonflies have a good chance here, but this is only game 1. This isn't for the series per se, right? Game 1 is only game 1. Every game counts here.
Yeah, and if I remember right, the Wildebeests have had some issues in the beginning of the series. They're more of a further down on the line game-wise, and that's where they get most of their wins. So, game one, they might just be getting warmed up here, getting used to each other. They might not have played too many warm-up games beforehand. So we could probably see a little bit better showing out of these guys and come out really hot, as we know that they are later on in the series.
Oh, Aiden, he's going to miss that ball. That's going to ruin their opportunity here. They have a minute left. And Sharkax, he's going to try and go for his hat trick. That's not going to be found. That's a good flick. And Hakuna keeps it in the zone. Stop by Motorfly. And stop by Motor, my bad. He's been a little annoying fly, I wanted to say, but I kind of mixed both together, Motorfly. Oh, man, 30 seconds left here, and they need to find themselves a goal to bring this one to overtime. And another goal to get this W at least. Sharkax is getting bothered in the net by Willy Wonka. Up in the air goes Aiden. Off the ceiling this goes. It's on net. Sharkax with the save. Not only is he doing it on net, in the net, he's doing it in the goal department as well. But Aiden with 5 saves. Can he help his team on offense here? They got 10 seconds to do just that. But it seems like right off the bat here, the Dragonflies, my bad, are going to get the first win here as that ball hits the floor. And it's a 1-0 series lead for them.
Yeah, Dragonflies coming out here hot, able to take that game one, only by a goal though, as the Wildebeests did look very strong in their end of things. I would like to see just a little bit more possession out of the Wildebeests going into the offensive zone. It seems like they're kind of trying to get rid of the ball as quickly as possible and make off a passing play there. But unfortunately, they're not set up properly off the breakouts to become that passing option. So I would like to see a little bit more possession-wise and going into the zone.
So I'm going to talk a bit about the technical difficulty I had in the back there. No one really noticed because I didn't really freak out about it, but I pressed J by accident. I don't know if you ever spectated a game while pressing J, but it actually takes out the name of the players, and I did not know what button I pressed. So I went searching for a little while, trying to find the button, because all it was showing me was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I didn't want to call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I wanted to call them by name. So that was a bit of a mess on my end, but it's all fine in the end. You know what else is a mess? Look at their profile pictures. I kind of like it. I don't know. There's just a bit of professionalism that's in there, like a certain amount of it. It's quite impressive, really.
Yeah, if they didn't have matching, I'd be a little bit disappointed. But because they have, Motor and Willy Wonka with the same thing, it definitely looks a lot better.
Oh, that is so close to going in. It's just not found. The back of the net, and Hakuna, he's going to hook it past. And he gets himself the first goal of this game number 2. And he's making me sweat a bit here. He's making a lot of people sweat, in fact, because there's a lot on the line in terms of prediction points. And someone put in 12K. I put in 5K. You put in 3K. It's a lot of points on the line here.
Yeah, it looks like someone might be going broke at this point, as the Dragonflies are looking very solid, and we're already in game 2, and they're up by 1 with 20 seconds into the game. This could be their make-or-break game. If they win this game or come out top or come out extremely confident, they could really take this series against the Wildebeests.
I'm a man of my word, though. I'm saying that Dragonflies, yes, they are a good team, but how can you go against the team that's been 10-0, right? They've got all the momentum riding into here, and of course, the Dragonflies don't want to go on a 2-game losing streak after winning 6 in a row here. But right now, it seems like stats-wise, they're the ones that are on the weak end of things. But right now, the Dragonflies are really bringing it to them.
Yeah, and while they might have momentum, they also could have a little bit of overconfidence, and that can be a real killer for a team if they think that they're way better than they actually are, and they're not able to use up that skill that they think they have, and they go into some risky situations or just think that they're a little bit too better than they are.
Yeah, and we saw that in professional hockey 2 years ago. I don't know if you remember the best team in NHL history. They've got the most wins by any team in a season, and they got swept in the first round by the 8th seed. Which
I don't remember that one. Is that no?
That was in the NHL 2 years ago.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Willy Wonka, he ties up that game. Yes, the Blue Jackets draft. That is correct. Versus the Lightning. The Lightning were the best team in NHL history in terms of wins, And yet they could not even win more than just one period against the Blue Jackets. Don't talk about that, says Clutch.
Well, the NHL playoffs are a whole different breed. You know, you could be the best team in the regular season, obviously, as the Lightnings didn't win that game, but you know, it's just a whole different breed. You have such short notice in these games, and really, it's who can battle through each other's injuries and who can stay up top that way.
It's true that Columbus got swept right afterwards by, I do believe it was Boston. But like, who cares? They swept the best team, right? That's all that mattered, really. The overconfidence from the Lightning cost them there. And well, as you said, you can't be overconfident in times like these. But they've managed to at least tie the game. They've kept it close both games so far, and that's good to see. Because sometimes when you're overconfident, you can't really keep the games close. But one-goal games or tie games are pretty close, in my opinion. That's a good dunk on Aiden there. That's a good 50 indeed. What do you want Willy Wonka to do there?
Yeah, but this has kind of become pretty common in this series, is that the Wildebeests are just pushing up too far into the offensive zone. They don't have anyone back to be able to handle any of these large clears, and the Dragonflies, they're taking control of this mistakes, and they're able to just bang the ball on net and just make sure it's on net. You know, you don't have to make anything fancy, just make sure it's on net. No one's there, you're going to get the goal.
2-1 with 2:13 left on the clock here. We got ourselves quite the tight game. Once again, another 2-1 game here. The Wildebeests just can't seem to find the offense that they're used to finding. The redirect from Willy Wonka. He's been so good at those. And the first goal of the game, the first goal of the series, my bad, came from a play like that. But he almost finds it there. Just can't find it once again. As Average Joey gets bumped there, and Aiden gets a free goal.
And I do like this aggressiveness coming out from the Wildebeests now. You're sending in Willy Wonka in deep in that zone and just getting in the way of any defenders. You don't have to take anyone out. Just get in the way, make sure they can't make any sort of play. And when he's in the air like that, just shoot on net. It's going to be impossible for him to save.
And it's a tied 2-2 game with 105 left on the clock. 105 seconds, my bad, left on the clock. 140 left on the clock. That's a great passing play there. You don't really see that a lot in the Diamond Low Champ, and it's great to see that these teammates really have worked together, gotten some chemistry together at the end of the day, and are able to do such things, such as passing the ball to that extent and being able to trust each other with passes and redirects to that extent. Both teams really doing it, and I doubt that the lower end teams can do such things like that.
Yeah, really at the Paladin level and even the Renegade level, you kind of stay away from the passing plays, as usually those passing lanes are clogged up by players, as you can see there the Dragonflies coming in top there, trying to play into the center of the field, and no one's able to get any sort of outplay there.
Aiden and Hakuna both complaining about lag, and I mean, I don't see it, but obviously they do feel it, because they're the ones playing. 68, almost 9 seconds left on the clock here, as this one is tied up nearly right away with Willy Wonka with a beautiful air dribble, bar down and in.
Beautiful play there, and is good pickup as well, as Willy Wonka has to know that none of his teammates have any sort of chance of that ball. He needs to follow that ball up, and doing so, he's able to play that ball high and off the crossbar, out of reach of any defender from the Dragonflies.
And we got ourselves a series, ladies and gentlemen. It's tied at 3, and Sharkax makes himself quite the save there. The series, this needs to be a game for the Wildebeests here. They need to win this one, unless they force themselves in the reverse sweep situation. Obviously, no team wants that. And yeah, Wonka and Aiden have been doing wonders. Aiden with 5 saves last game to try and keep his team in it. And in this game, well, he's got himself the goal, 2 assists and 2 saves. He's been doing it all around the field. Wonka with 2 goals, almost 3 assists. No save, that's to Motor as well. Speaking of which, Wonka, he's gonna get faked out there by Shark. Somehow Shark doesn't find the back of the net there. How unfortunate, with so little time left on the clock. That needed to go in.
Yeah, Willy Wonka almost doing a reverse fake, faking the fake out, and able to just make sure that he can't get a shot on net and has to play it off the side of the post. That was a very risky play, but well done.
Well done indeed, and it's a tied 3-3 game with the shots 10-9 in favor for the Wildebeests. So not really one team dominating over the other. I think both teams have had their moments to shine, and it really shows with the back and forth goal scoring. But that being said, the Wildebeests have yet to have a lead. Acuna with a save there, stopping that from happening. 30 seconds have passed here. Motor pops up in the air, but he fakes that one. And Average Joey's the only one able to make the save. Shark's gonna miss this one, and the series is tied at 1. That goal was so important for their team, for Aiden and for the Wildebeests. And our channel points are no longer in limbo.
What a shot from Aiden as well. It's almost back-to-back plays by Aiden, trying to play that high ball off or over the last defender, and he's able to get enough speed on that ball and place it in the perfect spot as no one is back. But I believe we're going to go and make a server reset. And right now, this is looking like it's going to go to a Game 5. This is a great series so far.
Great series so far indeed. Hey, we talked about last series, right? How the teams were 9-1 and 8-2, and it was one of the best games in A all season long that was going to be streamed. Well, what about this Paladin match? We've got ourselves quite the series indeed. And it's quite hard to see how one team has a clear advantage over the other. I feel like both games went to overtime, but even though Dragonflies took the first game 2-1 in regulation.
Yeah, I mean, it's been close. It's been so close overall. You know, either game could really seem like it's an overtime game, and it's such a great series to watch, as well as both teams are coming out with tremendous amounts of shots. I believe both teams had plus 10 shots in that last game alone. And in the first game as well, I think the Dragonflies had over 10 shots as well. They're just hammering the ball at the net, making so much offensive plays, and it's just an amazing series to watch so far.
But with all their offense, they're letting on a lot themselves, right? Their defense definitely not as strong as we've seen in the stats. So do you think something's up there?
Yeah, I do think that they need to be a little bit more confidence on the defensive end. All these players, they're good players. They can really hold down defensively as well. I believe one of these teams, I can't remember exactly which team, but one of them was top in the league for saves, if I remember right, saves per game. But I don't know off the top of my head. So, you know, both these teams, they can easily hold down defensively. They just need to find that confidence and find those defensive rotations, which is kind of hard, seeing as both teams are just trying to fire the ball at the net, and you really have to just play reactionary.
Yeah, play reactionary indeed. And so we don't really know who's going to win the game. So, ladies and gentlemen, who's going to win this best of 3? Now that it is a best of 3, what are we to do?
Yeah, I mean, if the Dragonflies pulled off that last game, I definitely would have given this series to them. I would have had to switch my prediction. But now the Wildebeests, they're trying to get their momentum back into this as well. So, you know, they could come out hot now and just sweep the series, go to a Game 4 and win it out. But it's really a make or break here, as it's who can get that momentum first.
Who can get the momentum first, ladies and gentlemen? And there's going to be a change in colors here. Dragonflies are going to go to the light blue. The cyan color. Wildebeests going for a little bit of a darker shade of green. Game number 3 is underway here. And do you think the lighter color suits the Dragonflies a little bit better, considering the fact that their logo is majority cyan and just a tiny bit of purple?
Yeah, I think the colors for this team is definitely going to be the difference maker in this game. It does look a lot better, though. I do like that cyan color. It looks exactly reminiscent of the Sonics new decals as well.
Yes!
Yeah, it's almost exactly the same. And the Sonics was definitely my favorite out of that new esports release.
Oh, Hakuda, he finds the goal. And he's got himself and his team the 1-0 lead. And is it me, or has the Wildebeests not been in the lead whatsoever this series?
No, they've always been playing catch-up. You know, I think they had back-to-back goals. The Dragonflies had back-to-back goals off of the Game 1, and then Game 2, I think it went back and forth throughout the entire game. So, you know, really need to see the Wildebeests coming out hotter early on in this series, and maybe they can pull away easier, as they do seem to be taking over and taking control of the game later on.
Oh, and Aiden almost finding himself that rebound shot, but it's going to be put aside. They're trying to keep it in right now, but it's going to be cleared out by Shark Hacks. Shark Hacks has been so good along with Acuna right there. Me and Cubits talked a lot about that, how it seems like both teams have 2-player rosters. It really comes down to the third man, and right now it really just shows that their top two are really playing out here. Aiden and Wonka and Hakuna and Sharkax, and really, who's the best duo right now, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, Aiden and Willy Wonka, they're obviously the best duo in my opinion, as they have kind of led the Wildebeests to that 10-0 record throughout this entire season long. As you know, Willy Wonka had 4 games off or so throughout the season, but they really can be the strong biggest factor. But Dragonflies coming back into things, making these quick goals and coming into this shot-making team as they were in the first 2 games.
And yeah, it's a 2-1 lead for them right now. But obviously, just as quick as you like, right? Right off of the kickoff, and it's suddenly in the back of the net. And so obviously, Wildebeests could have the same luck. Sadly, it doesn't happen for them right away here. That shot's gonna go down. Almost went into the back of the net there. How unfortunate would that have been off of the 50, right off of the ceiling? Well, fortunate depending on who you're voting for, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Dragonflies, they got to hold things down right here. They got to stay strong. They can't allow any sort of quick goals. If they can get 1 goal right now, I really think they'll pull out the dub in this game.
What are your thoughts on Dorkinator being left out here? Because right now, the Dragonflies are running away with this one here. Do you think that they need to bring in Dorkinator?
Possibly. It's tough bringing in a sub so late into the series. You have to change up your whole momentum, your whole game style, as 2 players never play exactly the same. So having Motor or Dorkinator could be a huge difference factor and could actually make things worse, even if he is a better player.
And I mean, the stats are pretty equal on both sides. It's just that Dork has actually played the most games on this team, right? He's tied for the most games at 9. Obviously, maybe giving him a break, maybe giving Motor some plays, because obviously Motor and Wonka, they haven't played that much. Wonka at 5 and Motor at 3, so giving a little bit of play time to the other players. But is it the time to give it up against one of the better teams in the league?
It's very tough to have, playing your sub in games like this. You really need to stick to your guns and stay strong with your top 3 players, or just whoever works the best together. So, Wildebeests might have played together earlier, throughout this week that we had off, and this could have been the better team that overall. So, who really knows besides them if they feel more confident with this roster rather than the Dorkinator roster?
Aiden pops it up in the air. He's got to try and follow it up, but Sharkax intercepts. Average Joey's going back into his zone, trying to make the save here. No, it's too high, and Sharkax is able to get the shot away from the net. Motor's shot just slightly goes right, too high of the net, and then is put off to the right. Willy Wonka picks it up in his own corner there. Acuna turns around, ruins rotation, but he's able to get that ball into the offensive zone and out of his own, and that's very important. But Sharkax is going to miss that one, leaving it for Average Joey, and he's going to get that one. He's also going to get a good 50 with Motor, but Motor wins it, and he's going to try and get it past Acuna, which he does, but he's got no boost to 50 him.
And this could be a good opportunity from the Dragonflies. 3-on-0 there, as Joey and Sharkax are able to play it past all of the defenders. Sharkax with one doink passes it past Motor, and Average Joey getting that pickup at the very end, being that wide open man.
Sharkax hits Joey because Joey is probably going for the goal steal there, and I don't know if you saw it, but that was a big swipe, like an angry cat, just saying no
My
ball
goal.
for you. My ball. And yeah, I like how Giraffe said, is there an option where I can predict the tie and they both lose? Well, sadly, we'll be here for 30 minutes if we need to, if an overtime game 5 lasts that long, but hopefully that never happens.
I mean, yeah, we're willing to break the record for longest game in Rocket League history, but I don't think that's going to be it today.
Longest game in RLPC history. That would be a fun stat to try and find. Sadly, you don't keep records on that.
Yeah, that would be something fun to track. Maybe in the upcoming seasons we'll somehow add that in with the bot, but not. I don't think it's something that we'll be able to figure out or find out what the longest game is. Oh, what shot there!
Nice
Almost
shot,
able to pick
good
up that
save.
kill. Almost able to get that momentum.
Yeah, almost able to, but nothing's going on here. And down 2-1. Do you bring in Dork or do you stay with Motor?
It's tough. You know, if they bring in Dork, it's very possible, very likely that they'll actually pull out a win in this next game, as the Dragonflies will have to switch up their whole playstyle as well to play sort of around him. And it does look like they might be bringing in Dork for this game 4, but it's the subsequent games that could be an issue. The follow-up game, that game 5, if they do end up winning this game 4 and sending it to a game 5, that could be an issue bringing in that sub.
And there you go. It has been confirmed. They are subbing in Dork, and in exchange for Motor here. And with game number 4 looming here, Wildebeests backs up against the wall. This might go to game 5, a third straight game 5 for the Wildebeests. But the Dragonflies, they haven't gone to a game 5 in almost 1.5 months. And they definitely don't want this going to game 5 here. They're going to need to win this one if they want to win this series, in my opinion. If the Wildebeests bring it to game 5, I think they win it.
Yeah, and you said, was that 4 or 3 back-to-back game 5s?
This would be a third straight back-to-back game 5 for the Wildebeests.
So they are very confident in their game 5 abilities. They know that when the pressure's there, they can end up winning the series. They've been there time and time again, where the Dragonflies, it's been a while. So they got to show out and see that they can handle the pressure as well.
Well, I'd like to give you a funny stat. The Wildebeests have won all their game 5s. They've won all their sweeps. All the games that they could have swept, they have. All the games that went to game 4, they've won, and they've won all their forfeits. So they've won every game that they've been in, right? So obviously, you want them to continue. They want to continue doing so. And right now, the Dragonflies are going to do everything in their power to stop them from doing so. But the change to Dorkinator might be something to behold here. Game number 4 is underway, and now almost goes in right there, as the challenges are coming in really hot right now for the Wildebeests. Wildebeests in green and Dragonflies in blue once again. And Dorkinator 42 has been subbed out for Motor.
And the Wildebeests are not going to go down lightly. They're going to go all out, offensive pressure, balls to the wall, as they are going to be very strong in this game, having that peak roster going into this game 4.
Hopefully, balls in the back of the net by the end of this game. Dorkinator tries to grab that ball, but he can't. Aiden, he's forced back into the net here as that pass goes to Average Joey from Sharkax. Sharkax leaves it, and that's going to be a good pickup there for Aiden. Hakuna picks it up, but Willy Wonka picks up the ball off of the side wall. Sharkax avoids a demo. Hakuna gets the ball cleared out. That's a good 50 from Average Joey. The ball is in the zone once again, but a lot of ping pong, a lot of tennis, as I was saying earlier. We talked about, I said tennis a lot last game, but there was a lot of tennis going on both sides. A lot of hot potato. A lot of, I don't want this ball right now. My team's not in position. Willy Wonka doesn't care that his team's not in position. He's just going to air dribble this one right in the net.
Yeah, he's giving Hakuna no space there on the goal line. He's getting right up in his face, making sure that he can dunk it directly in the net, and he has no chance there to stop that one. This is what the Wildebeests needed. They needed that quick goal. The first time they've led early on in the series, and this could be that peak roster that the chat has been saying as well. This is looking very strong from Willy Wonka, Aiden, and Dorkinator.
Well, this is the first time, period, that they've been in charge of a game, that they've had the lead. And it's taken them over 16 minutes of play, nearly 17, just to find that one lead. So the Dragonflies have really had their numbers so far. And the only times that the Wildebeests have been in it was when it was tied. And overtime, obviously, yeah, they won one game, but that went to overtime. They never really had the lead there. They only had the lead for a quantity of 0 seconds, because there's no overtime after you score a goal. the ball is in the offensive zone right now. Hakuna gets the ball out. Willy Wonka stops that. And I think that there might be a bit of lag for these players here, as it shows a little bit on my screen that all their pings have gone up, including mine. Maybe it's just on my end. Maybe you guys stopped hearing me for a second there. But yeah, a lot's been going on here. The Wildebeests are going to try and bring this to Game 5. If it goes to Game 5, I think this is a Wildebeest win. If this is a win, obviously, for the Dragonflies, it's a win for them in this series, and they beat the favorites in this. Once again, the 8-2 team here have the chance to upset the upper team, and it's weird to say, huh? An 8-2 team upsets another team, but that's an amazing bump. And Sharkax, he's going to find the back of the net. We're tied at 1 with 102 seconds left on the board here. What a bump there! It's on your own teammate.
And this 8-2 team is going to upset. It's looking like they are coming out strong, and they're redoing this pressure. They're going the opposite ways, and now it is the Dragonflies' game. They are able to tie it up with a minute left here, but now they have that momentum. They're able to stop and find some sort of offensive pressure coming out of this new roster from the Wildebeests. And let's save there from Shark as well, able to play that into his own corner.
As you say that, it is in the corner, and they're trying to keep the ball pressured into the zone. But right now, the Dragonflies have really stopped the offense from this Wildebeest team. And so they were keeping themselves humble. They were keeping it honest. But that's a great save by Aiden. They really just can't get any offense going here. They're stopped in the midfield. They're stopped in the middle of the offensive zone. There's really nothing they can do here, as these rotations are really strong. And a ball miss like that from Dorkinator is very crucial in them trying to find anything, something.
Yeah, they're just having so much issues getting the ball out of the zone. They're able to get a lucky clear there, but it just seems like the rotations, the offensive rotations from the Dragonflies are way too strong and way too perfect for them to really handle right now.
And this has really been slow played off the wall. That almost went to the back of the net, but Willy Wonka is on that ball right in position. That's a good demo. That stops the rotation out, and that's going to be a respawn for Hakuna. Once again, demos, a blessing and a curse. Yes, you get the player out of where he was for 3 seconds, but then they respawn in the backfield. And if you have a shot you think that is on net, and it takes 2 seconds for it to go on net, the guy is going to make the save. We might be seeing overtime here. And the balls, Dorkinator with a save, and we go to overtime.
And the momentum is in the Dragonflies' hands. They are looking so strong right now. They had 2 very good chances of securing that final goal and securing the series. Just unfortunately not able to get that last little touch into the back of the net.
Hakuna, he's going to backflip after Joey gets demoed there. But Sharkax comes back in. That shot is slightly wide. Sharkax hits the ball after getting bumped there. And Hakuna, he needs to get his way back here. He's going to try and Cuxer pinch, but it's a little too off the wall. It's too high, but the shot is going to go to Dorkinator. Average Joey with the clear. That is a great clear. They needed that, absolutely. Willy Wonka, he's going to get that boost after missing it, and that's a little bit of a waste of time. Average Joey can't find it. We go to Game 5.
The Dragonflies looking too confident offensively. They get too deep into the zone, and Aiden just goes for the long clear and almost hits it top righties, but secures that goal and brings the Wildebeests to a Game 5.
2 Game 5s in a row. 2 of the top teams for both of these games. And after this, ladies and gentlemen, don't go away, because these series are really tight, but the next one is probably going to be even tighter, because we have ourselves quite the matchups tonight. Not only did we get Titans versus Ravens and Wildebeests versus Dragonflies, we also have the Mustangs versus Avalanche. So don't go away after this match is over. Titan is going to be with you for this last match, right? For the match versus the AA, Mustangs versus Avalanche.
That is the plan.
That is the plan. Let's see if that's how it works out. I figured out who put the 10K points on Wildebeests. I'm not going to say his name out loud, because obviously he hasn't put it in chat that he said so. So I'm going to keep that information to myself. But I know who's put in the 10K. In fact, he's put in 9.8K.
So, I'm not sure if you saw in the chat, but Willy Wonka and Hakuna just had an intense rock, paper, scissors matchup, and the Dragonflies actually won that one. So now they have the momentum back into their own hands, and they can win this game 5 off that rock, paper, scissors matchup.
Yeah, that's quite the way to win a Rocket League game, isn't it? When it comes down to it, at some point, that you need to have a tiebreaker. Both of these teams have been so tight. Oh, yes, that's right. Okay. I am allowed to say who put in the 10,000 points. It was Craig. Craig put in the 10,000 points. Craig allowed me to tell you guys who it was. What is it, Mike?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay.
No.
No?
But Craig is risking it all, I guess, on those channel points.
Willy Wonka with the ball in the back of his own zone there. Average Joey dunks him. And that was almost very, very bad, but it goes wide. Wonka, he's got to try and 50 Hakuna. Hakuna, an easy win there after he was on his own back wall. That was a great way to tilt the odds in his favor. That shot is going to be on net, and it finds average Joey. And that's a great aerial goal as his team takes the lead once again. And once they've had a lead, they have not relinquished that lead. They have not given the Wildebeests of the lead, but this can still be tied up here. And the way that both teams, whenever one scores, the other one answers back quite quickly. Well, here's a demo. It's going to not be passed. That is an amazing demo by Aiden on Hakuna. That was so clutch.
Yeah, huge pickup there. He had the wide field, cross-field pass wide open, and Aiden comes out of nowhere and knocks out that remaining player and knocks out that offensive situation. There's another demo coming from Willy Wonka on that back post. They're coming out here with so much aggressiveness right now.
Yeah, they're taking lessons from Catman over there on how to deal with annoying pests who stay in good rotation, and that's a tale as old as time, right? If a team is really good at rotating, get them out of the rotations. Demo a guy here and there, right? Get them to freak out. Get them to over-rotate, overcompensate. Sometimes they'll go for double commits because of it, and that's how you'll find the holes, right? And, well, oh, that is so close from Hakuna. Shark hacks, he's not going to...
No.
Willy Wonka! How do you miss that one? That is not a pass. That is not a shot that you must miss. Willy Wonka's right there. Oh, no! He hesitates! He can't read the ball!
That could be the deciding factor. I really don't want to say it. If that is the winning goal, it's going to be kind of an unfortunate ending for this series, but...
You have to admit that everyone got DDoS right then and there. Even you got liked. What a save! By Hakuna, he comes in and bails out his teammates. And it stays a 2-0 game. And it stays a 2-0 lead. Oh my goodness gracious. The Dragonflies right now are peaking in terms of everything going on. Willy Wonka, he's gonna try and get it over. He gets it over one, but Hakuna saves his team once again. He's got 2 saves. He doesn't have the goal in this game, but he does have the moral support. He does have the pass. He does have the 2 saves, and he's got the rest of the series on his back, as he's been doing all series long.
Yeah, someone's got to be that rock-solid defensive player in the back end, and Hakuna is it this series, or this game definitely, as he had an amazing goal off that very tough shot from Wonka, and this could be another opportunity from the Dragonflies. Look at that doink from Shark, not able to get enough of it, though, and send that into the back of the Wildebeests' net.
Yeah, that's because of a nice bump by Dork. That shot is way too high, but the rebound not found, and the second and third rebound are stopped by Shark Hacks. Right place, right time, 100 seconds left. There's a demo on the play, and Shark Hacks is gonna get to it first. Easy goal.
That could clinch it right there. 3-0 with 1:30 left. I mean, I've seen the comebacks like this before, but on a game 5 where there's already so much pressure, this is very, very tough to come back, especially because, you know, Aiden and Willy Wonka, the 1-2 punch on the Wildebeest team, have been kind of relying on Dorkinator this last game.
All right, well, 90 seconds left on the clock here, and what a comeback this would need to be The Wildebeests have been stripped of all pride at this point, and it looks like they'll go 10-1 for their season. The perfect season. Will it come to an end? A ghost touch happens there. Aiden can't control it. Hakuna gets the clear out. 70 seconds left on the clock here. The time is ticking, and they need to score now.
This could be a good chance. What a save, though, from the Dragonflies yet again. Wildebeests trying to get that pinch in front of the net and send that in the back of the net, but now we have a double commit here into the Dragonflies' corner. The Wildebeests are trying so hard to secure a goal, and they need one off this next shot if they want any sort of chance to get back in the game. That is it! Aiden able to secure that goal off the pass from Dorkanair into the center of the field.
Wildebeests are not in this game whatsoever, but that's a start. You need to play all 5 minutes so far. The Dragonflies have played 4 amazing minutes of Rocket League. Don't step off of the gas pedal now. You are so close to the end goal, beating the undefeated team. Can you do it now? 40 seconds left on the clock. 2 goals in 40 seconds needed to be found for this team to just go to overtime. Can they do it? The clock is ticking. 30 seconds remaining.
And the Dragonflies, they can't commit too far. If they commit too far and become overconfident here, they could lead to a loss, but they got to hold down here defensively, and that's a good fake there from Shark. Dorkanator looking to pre-jump that clear.
And I think that was very important, and I think that sealed it right then and there. This is gonna be the dagger as the Dragonflies, I hate to say it, upset the Wildebeests.
The 8-2 Dragonflies beating the undefeated Wildebeests on the spotlight match of the week here for Paladin League. The Wildebeests looked very strong. They even went to their main roster, but not able to come up come out on top as the Dragonflies were way too strong offensively with their rotations and just their just such a great amount of shots over and over and over against the Wildebeests.
Now, Joey over there trying so hard to get a lot of points, really trusting in the Wildebeests, but Joey lost all of his points, as did we over here. A total collection of 22,000 points going to the people who bet against and went with the Dragonflies, who win this game 4-1. What a statement win by the Dragonflies there. They are now the teams to beat, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They got to be the top team right now in the Paladin League. They look so strong, and the Wildebeests just could not handle it, and they couldn't handle the pressure going into the Game 5 scenario. The Dragonflies are going to look to become that #1 team going into playoffs as we are past that midway point of the season.
All right, well, we're going to take a short little break here as we go to our third series tonight. We'll be back in the closet in just a little bit. It's tough.
You've got me all in my feelings, like I could die without you next to me. It's the way that you look at me, makes me feel like I can't breathe. It ain't right, it ain't right, oh no. It ain't right, it ain't right, oh no. You're calling my phone, I'm being patient, but I'm all alone. Staying faithful and I'll never know when you're coming back around. Oh no, back around. When you're coming back around. When you're coming back around.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the closet here. My name is Quantum Deathcat. We're going to finish off the night with two of the best AA teams. I'm back with Dead Medic, and this time with Revy as well. Let's talk about a little bit of a different topic just to start off. Let's talk about AAA, since we haven't talked about AAA that much as of late, because there haven't been any AAA matches. What's been going on over there before we talk about our game upcoming here?
Right. I mean, AAA has been kind of separating themselves even further than last time we had talked about it. you're kind of seeing the top 4 teams further pulling ahead. Obviously, I had mentioned this before, but the Bobcats beat the Heat, which means we're clearly number 1 in AAA. No, easily, no problem. Heat's bad. Don't worry about it. No, but I think what you're seeing is again, like I said, the disparity between the lower and the higher ranked teams in AAA, and you're also seeing that the competition between those top teams is so tight that the playoff picture right now is looking fantastic for as far as gameplay and things like that.
Oh, totally. It almost feels like you guys are a shoo-in over at the Bobcats. Right now, the Osprey are 6-5, and you have 2 teams in your division that are also 6-5. So it might come down. The Geese and Vipers, though, are 5-6 and 4-7 respectively. So they also have a chance. But so far, it looks like it's going to be Osprey, yourself, along with Bulldogs and Dolphins in the wildcard positions. On the other side of the coin, we got Heat at 9-2. They've taken that division by storm. Knights are 9-2. Trojans, though, are 8-3. So both teams there are neck and neck. In fact, it almost seems like the Trojans might take that league if the Knights ever mess up. And with that 4th wildcard spot, it's up in the air. Entropy and Tundra are 5-6. Pioneers are 6-5. All 3 of those teams have a shout at that last wildcard position. It looks right now that the Pioneers are going to take that one. So, any surprises you think are going to come out of this?
I mean, like you said, the Knights and the Trojans, that'll be a very interesting duel to look at. You know, do the Knights drop a game? If they do the Trojans capitalize? Other than that, I mean, so the wild card slot too, as you were alluding to, is very interesting because you've got several of those teams that are vying for it right now, all with tied records. As far as the Bulldogs, Dolphins, and the Pioneers, you're going to see some. What's cool about that is you're going to see some separation. Maybe the Dolphins have really picked their season up. Whereas the Bulldogs have sort of dropped down a little bit compared to how they started. So it's a very tight race, and honestly, it's something I'm curious to see. I feel like will only solidify to the end of the season, and by no means is it solid stamp. We know the 4 teams that are there. Like even us 9-2, like the Bulldogs or the Dolphins. Let's say we start dropping and they start doing really well. There's still plenty of time left in the season for those middle of the pack teams to even pull ahead to first if they can pick it up. You know what I mean? So it's just good looking competition all the way around. I think it's something very something to follow throughout the rest of the season.
And there's not really a team that's like really down in the dumps either, right? All teams have at least 2 wins, and all teams have at least 2 losses, right? So it's not like you guys don't have any competition. There's not one team that's really running away with it, and there's not one team that's really down in the dumps, as I just said, right? So we have ourselves in AAA a really, really tight race.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and like you said, the only team that I would say is down in the dumps maybe would be Tigers. They keep forfeiting games, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, that's rough, isn't it? Especially when players just don't join here. Let's go to Double A here as we get the Mustangs versus the Avalanche. Avalanche have practically taken that entirety of the Elements division. The closest team are 6-4. The Inferno are. The Warriors are 7-3. Voyagers are 6-5 left. Lightning win this game later on tonight. I think they play. They'll be 6-5 as well in the playoff hunt. Who do you feel is going to take these playoff spots? Because it feels like the Avalanche are tucked in here, but the Warriors could easily lose out on this playoff spot if they're not careful.
Yeah, Revy, you want to take this one, or you want me to?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm opening up the standings. I forgot about that.
It's fine.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's 100% a possibility that, like, the Warriors could lose out to the Voyagers here, depending on how the Elements division ends out, because the Inferno and the Avalanche pretty much look like, based off the stats and, like, how I've seen they've been playing on stream and off stream, like, just replays and stuff like that. They look to be super solid teams, and I feel like both of them are pretty much a done deal for the playoffs. And I think the really interesting thing about this quartz conference is going to be the Warriors and Voyagers battle to see who gets the first seed and who gets the second seed, because I think that whoever gets that first seed is pretty much going straight to semifinals, and you don't have to face the Avalanche first round of playoffs, which I think is a huge bonus.
And speaking of the Avalanche, they're one of the teams I see going to play tonight up against the 7-3 Mustangs, and that division, that conference in general is really, really tight. Two teams 7-3, one team at 8-3. One of those 7-3 teams is the Mustangs, and they're barely hanging on to the top spot of that division by a thread. And the Jaguars could easily take that if they win tonight as well. Right now, the Avalanche are beating them in every single category.
Yes, that is. Yeah, so the Avalanche right now, their 3 starting players for tonight, Hijinks, Coffee, and Mar, all have over 30 goals. They all have over 40 saves, and they all have over 100 shots. And all 3 of those stats, not a single one of the Mustangs have a player. So they don't have a single player with 30 goals, 40 saves, or 100 shots. So it sort of just seems like the Avalanche may just run away with this game. I was talking with Hero earlier. I know he's on the Mustangs, but it sort of I was saying like their stats just look way too good right now. You guys have to just absolutely play out of your mind to take this to a game 5, I think. And it just seems like it's just going to be a blowout just by the stats.
Just by the stats, but as we saw last series, I should say, stats don't mean anything. The 10-0 team got beat by the 8-2 team, technically an upset, but hey, both teams are really good. Both teams kept it close, and so I think obviously both of these teams are going to flex the muscles, but one team is obviously going to come out on top. Who is it going to be, in both of your opinions here, looking at the stats?
So the stats may say that the Avalanche are looking really good, but earlier I did say it was going to be a 3-0, but looking at like the goals per game and everything like that, I think that the Mustangs may actually just barely come out ahead in a 3-2. Talking to Hero made me reconsider because he's like, sure, he said that sure they have good stats, but that doesn't mean anything on stream. Anything can happen on stream.
Mm-hmm. And you got to think, right? The Avalanche are riding a 10-game winning streak. None of them are forfeits. The Mustangs started off the season 5-0, and they looked really strong, and then they lost 3 straight games. Now they're back on the winning ways. They won against the Herons, and they won up against the Dukes. And Herons are 8-3, right? So one of those losses was from the Mustangs. And the Dukes, well, they're 1-9. Everyone's beating them. So right now, it just seems like they're back on the right track. The Mustangs could possibly beat out this Avalanche team, and I think they'd be the team to do it, but they've been really down in the dumps in the last few weeks here. And what about you, Dead Medic? What is your prediction here?
Right. I still have the Avalanche taking this. Now, I like you said, I think Mustangs have a very good shot at making this a close series, a 3-2 game either way. I still, though, looking at, and not just at stats, but looking at the way the Mustangs have played this season, they really struggle shooting, like heavily struggle shooting, and they have a lot of saves, which tells me that, again, like I had said to the previous single A series, you have those 1 or 2 players that have that pop-off potential, and you need them to pull through. Now, can Hero be that guy tonight? Yes, he usually has been, possibly, but I still would say that the Avalanche look like a much more solid team. I think this will be a 3-2, though. I think it'll be a very close series because the Mustangs have everything to play for. This is a must-win, but I think that pressure could backfire on them, especially on stream. So I'm going to go 3-2, but Avalanche.
May I also chime in for a second and say that weren't Viper and Chaotic both was it AA or AAA All-Stars last season?
Yes.
Am I mistaken with that? Or
I don't think
yes.
you are, but yeah. So they really went up to be able to stay in AA, right? Because obviously the ranks change every season, so it's been getting really tough. 2 seasons ago, if you were GC, you were in Major, right?
Yeah, and now you're GC and you could be in Indie, Independent.
Right, exactly.
That's a huge drop. That's what, 5 leagues almost.
That's 5 leagues, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like the competition just keeps on getting better, and it keeps on being more and more fun to watch these series play out.
Well, I'm going to say this year, I can't go up against, the Mustangs started off really strong, but they lost 2 games, 2 very important games. One against the Jaguars, right? They're divisional rivals who they are tied with right now in the standings with Masarusis, Messiah, Justin, and CXL. On the other hand, they also lost to Inferno, a 6-4 team with the Jester, Nanites, Kara, and Cannoli. So both of these teams are pretty decent teams. But on paper, it looks like the Mustangs should be beating those teams. So were those games flukes? Did they have to sub in people? What happened in those games? I'd actually really like to know. But looking at the stats, otherwise the Avalanche look like they're going to take this one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the closet, or desk, I should say. Thank you to Revy and to Dead Medic for their predictions. I am going to go against the grain here. I'm going to say a 3-1 for the Mustangs. And when those predictions do come up on the stream chat, I will go 5,000 on Mustangs. Ladies and gentlemen, who do you got? Tell us in the chat. I'm going to pass it to Titan on Fire and to Almost Magic Mike for your last series tonight.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We are here. It took a little bit for the players to get in, but the Avalanche eventually showed up. Your 10-0 team are here to play. I am Titan on Fire, joined by Magic Mike. How are you doing? I don't think I've ever casted with you this season, at least.
I think this is the first time this season. We might have done something in the playoffs last season, but definitely first time this season. But very interesting matchup. And were you able to see any of the previous series earlier today?
No, I was busy. I got home 30 minutes before this series started, so I didn't get to catch them, but I did hear the surprising news about the upset in our last series, which definitely was a bit of a surprise to suddenly get onto my PC and hear about that going down. And when the desk was talking about these two teams, one thing that I did want to bring up for the Mustangs that they didn't talk about is a new addition here for the Mustangs, as that shot almost finds its way in, and that's Chaotic JBC. In their last series against the Dukes, well, of course, the Dukes are a team that has been struggling. He showed that, yeah, he is definitely here to play, and he really does fit onto this squad. Had an absolutely standout performance. So, I think the Mustangs, they might have a bit more chance in this series than they may have given them, they may have pegged them for.
Yeah, you definitely can't leave them out of the picture. They are a very strong team in their own rights, and they've had some decent opportunities as well in this game so far. 3 shots in under a minute. They're coming out with this pressure so early on, looking really nice.
Yeah, and the players, again, this Mustang squad, the thing that I really do like about them is just how individually talented they are. And any one of these players can come out and they can have a fantastic game and solo carry it. We've seen, Hero pull out some amazing plays in the games that he's done. Just, he's done 0 seconds. Whatever he needs, he can really pull it out. And Chaotic, I mean, he's only been in for, 2 series? And he's already just scoring so much.
Yeah, just as you were saying, he has the speed, and he can handle those reads just like that. He's able to get upside down and get some power on that ball and fire past all of the defenders on the Avalanche. Looking very strong, and he's fitting in pretty well in this roster so far.
Yeah, and right now the Mustangs coming out with a bit of pressure, which is always nice to see. The boost steal comes through, and that just means that Chaotic has the free shot. There's no one able to challenge him, but a few double commits are coming out from Viper and Hero. I think, Viper has probably had some issues with consistency in previous series. Of course, he hasn't been the player that pops off the most, but he's still extremely good. There's nothing against him. He is able to really fit into this squad. But that third man role is going to be very important for these two teams. When you get to teams that are of this caliber, having a good rotation and just making sure that all those fundamentals are as perfect as they can be is so important. And double commit like that is not good enough. Mar going to put in the first goal for the Avalanche.
Yeah, at this level, double commits like that are very killer. Both these players up in the air, and it's kind of just hoping for the best. You got to just throw yourself at the ball, and unfortunately, they're not able to get in front of that one as Mar is able to find the opening on those defenders between Chaotic and Hero.
And first half of the game is about to go by, and just, again, as I was mentioning, Viper has probably had the most issues that we've seen out of this team, but just a few double commits here and there, and that can always just come down to communication, just something like that, or even just not being quite aware of where your teammates are. And a few team bumps results in that shot eventually finding its way into the net. Ooh, Hero already up for that. The pass back. That is a very nice play. The Mustangs gonna get themselves back the lead.
Yeah, and at this level, this is something that you can be very killer with offensively. If you're able to play with that player downfield and send someone downfield, whoever made that last commit, have him keep upfield just a tad bit longer than usual, and you can play with him and get a kind of a redirect or a passing play there, and he's able to get a very nice shot on net and kind of surprise the Avalanche, not knowing what really to do there defensively.
Just a great play out of the Mustangs, and those passing plays, always so important to mix into your offense. Just makes it so much more volatile, being able to move the defense around to where you want them to be. But another double commit there on the defense for the Mustangs, and they have to scramble back. A nice touch from Hero will manage to clear this one out. And, you know, for the Avalanche, I think this has been a surprisingly slow game for them. They've been allowing the Mustangs to step forward and to take that initiative, and they really haven't been able to keep up with them as Hero almost scores a great own goal. Impressive angle, but on the wrong net.
Yeah, but it kind of seems like they're a little bit too hesitant right now. They don't want to take too many huge risks and sort of put themselves out of position, but try and capitalize off those as well. But nice pass there from Jinx to the middle, trying to hook up Mar there in front of the net. And now we're getting these passing plays, these infield passing plays, which are looking very strong right now for the Avalanche.
Touch onto the backboard is turned away as we approach the final minute of gameplay. Still, the Avalanche down a goal, and I mean, as you said, very reluctant on this offense. They haven't been moving forward very hard. They've been consistently just sitting two players at the midfield line to wait as Hero gets a risky touch here. Chaotic will come through and clean it up for him, and this prolonged pressure has been good for the Avalanche, but unfortunately, you know, it doesn't matter how much offensive possession you have if you're not finding good shots off of it. And I think that's been an issue here for the Avalanche. They're just kind of hitting the ball around the net in its general vicinity. They're not getting really good shots just towards the goal. It seems like they're waiting for an opportunity that's just not coming because they're not playing aggressive enough to be in position for them.
Yeah, it seems like they're able to keep it in the zone. They're able to keep it offensively, but whenever they're trying to get it back into the zone, when there's a clear outward in the neutral zone and they're just trying to get it back into the zone, they're kind of giving up the possession right away. They're not really doing any slow plays or trying to get control of the ball and make any play that way. But Mar with a shot on net hits the crossbar. Very close there, trying to tie up that game and go into overtime, but it's going to be the Mustangs taking this game one, coming out on top.
And again, that goal almost went in because of another double commit from the Mustangs. Chaotic and Viper both go up for a touch. Hero manages to get up and block away the first attempt, and then Mar just barely off. That's a Feels crossbar, man. That's like, you can tie it up and you can see the net and you just barely place it high because you're trying to get it over that last defender. And unfortunately for the Avalanche, they dropped game one, and, you know, just the Mustangs playing extremely well. They had a lot of, not extremely well. They had a lot of good offense. They had a lot of very good plays. But, you know, we saw the double commits come through. But, you know, in the end, Avalanche, they just weren't taking advantage of those mistakes. They weren't being aggressive enough, I don't feel.
Yeah, the Mustangs, they looked very confident offensively. They know what to do. They know that to change up things, they're not going for the same thing over and over and over. They're not just trying to fire the ball off the net as much as possible. They're actually trying to make some passing plays and make some opportunities from the side of the fields and go east to west rather than just north-south. So, you know, it really just needs to be the cleanup there defensively. They're able to get those rotations in and not panic and be too worrisome of you know, being misplayed on the ball. They can really be just that strong, overpowering team and really take advantage of the Avalanche.
Yeah, and I think it was a bit surprising to see the Avalanche so reserved in that game because, you know, when you look at stats, they're pretty much in the top. They're in the top probably 10 for every single stat category. All three of their players. You look at saves per game. There's all three of their players. Look at goals per game. There's all three of their players. Shots per game. There's all three of them. But, you know, that game, they just kind of were, it just felt like they were waiting for the Mustangs to make a mistake. They were waiting for just to get opportunities, and they weren't given often enough, and they were never far enough forward on the field to really take advantage of them.
Yeah, and with they have a 45 goal differential right now, positive 45. They're able to outscore these teams with tremendous fashion, but that game they were really too passive. They need to come up with this more aggressive offense and really try to find each other and find their plays like they did a few times. They were able to find these passing plays, but really they seemed kind of hesitant there offensively. They weren't really able to get anything done on the Mustangs defense.
Yeah, as we apologies for the slight intermission here as we are trying to get the server back up, but Epic being Epic, the old lobby is actually still up, and I keep joining that. I don't know if anyone else is having that issue. It might just be me.
I'm having the same exact issue.
Yeah, why can't the servers just go down when no one's in them? Why can't why can't they just close off? But as we are waiting to get everyone back in there for that to sort it out. But with the Mustangs taking the 1-0 lead, I mean, Mike, again, both teams, a lot of places to improve there from that first game. But obviously you can just say, hey, you know what? Maybe that was first game jitters. Maybe that was just them waiting to see how their opponents would be playing. But now that we've seen that, I mean, do you expect either of these teams to change up their play style?
I mean, the Avalanche, they have to change their play style right now, especially with the double commits defensively from the Mustangs. They need to be more aggressive and go in for these balls when they see these double commits happen. They need to take advantage of these, and being that passive and more just sticking back, you really can't take any advantage off these misplays and these miscues from the Mustangs. So we really need to see that on the Avalanche side of things. And then on the other end of things, the Mustangs, if they're able to clean up defensively and just be more confident in their defensive rotations and who's going to go for each ball, and even step up their communication a little bit more, they definitely can run away with things because it does seem like they are the better team besides the defensive factor.
Yeah, I mean, that entire game one, Mustangs, they felt like they did have the more potent offense. I mean, we saw the passing plays, and I think that's one thing that I when I cast the Mustangs before when they were playing the Dukes was very apparent, even though that was a team that is lower down the standings and is obviously struggling. They were very willing to look for their teammates and to go for those opportunities. And, from what we've seen from the Avalanche, they, again, just reluctance on the offensive end. There hasn't been a lot of activity there. Normally we expect Mar to be doing stuff, maybe go for demos, get in the face of your opponents, especially if you're a team that, just on paper is better. Just, if you just have performed better, then you should be making those active choices in your play to give yourself opportunities. And I feel like that's kind of a trap that a lot of teams that are doing very well sometimes fall into. We'll see if the Avalanche can fix it up, though, if they can start to bring some aggression here into game number 2 as the Mustangs trying to see if they can get themselves another win. And if you go up 2-0 on a team that is favorite, a favorite team, a 10-0 team, and you get a win here, I mean, that's great news for your season.
Exactly. And it seems like right now, we're only 30 seconds in, but the Avalanche are back into their more hesitant play style. They're not aggressive as they should be, and as we've seen them play in previous series.
Now, already a few shots coming through, and mostly just the Mustangs feeling it out, trying to see what they can do here to create some pressure, force the defense out of position, get that boost used up. As Hero, last one back, will find this touch over to the side of wall. Viper unable to get there, and finally it will be the Avalanche breaking out and seeing what they can do. Jinx, a nice touch over one, looking for the double tap, but Chaotic gets in the way with a great read. Another pass out. Mar just pops it over his teammate. Now Hero has a 1v1, manages to also get the boost on it, trying to see what he can do. Unfortunately, doesn't have the control to really get anything done with that play, and now as we're starting to get into this back and forth, starting to see both these teams step forward a little bit more. This first goal going to be very important to see who takes the initiative, who takes the momentum here in game number 2. Coffee kicks this one to the midfield. It will be saved away. And yeah, so far, a minute and a half into game number 2, and neither team has managed to find a goal.
Yeah, and they've had their chance, but they're not able to get any sort of last touch that goes anywhere that they really want to be. They're kind of misplaying these touches, and they're not able to pick up that last man off the pass, or rather hit the net, as they're just kind of playing around the net. They're not really going on target right now.
And Again, that was that was very much the issue for the Avalanche in their last game, where it just felt like they were just hitting the ball around the net, hoping that maybe it finds its way back to one of their own players to find a shot, and that just never did happen for them. And so far, I mean, half the game going by, we've seen a few demos come through here for the Avalanche, deciding to get a bit more physical, and that's always what you want to see. You want to see those demos coming out, getting the players out of rotation, out of position. Jinx used up all of their boosts to get that save away, and as we approach this final half, 0-0 still. Both these teams playing a much more even game. The Avalanche managed to get out of their own half, but Viper gets a very good 50 against 2. Gets a double commit as well out of Jinx and Mar. As the low boost on the side of the Avalanche, it's not going to really result in anything here for the Mustangs, as 2 minutes going to hit onto the clock. Still that first goal being searched for, that go-ahead. And, you know, the longer and longer that we go without a goal being scored, the more and more important that goal will be, because it's going to be so much harder to find an equalizer the less time you have.
Yeah, at this point of the game, it really seems like that one goal could be the difference maker at this point. And with both these teams being very slow playing and more making sure that they're making the right decisions rather than going for anything risky and out of play, it's very tough to get any sort of goal opportunity, as Jinx almost able to get it past Hero there at the goal line. And now the Avalanche are trying to get some pressure going, as it really seems like the Mustang have had almost full control, just not able to get any ball into the net.
Yeah, it was a good bump there from Jinx onto Chaotic. Gets the first player out of position as that one almost rolls in. A great 50-50. The follow-up will be turned away, and still hunting for this first goal. Both these teams, again, have plenty of opportunities. That bump! Oh my god. Hero would have had that shot, but Mar, I mean, call it luck, call it calculated, somehow manages to flip into Hero, stops him from finding the shot, and still the Avalanche going to keep themselves in this game too, but it's the Mustangs with all the pressure. Viper onto the backboard, doesn't have the read. The follow-up turned away by Mar. And now Coffee on the transition, trying to find his teammate. Jinx finds the shot! And the Avalanche managed to get the goal on the transition and get themselves 1-0 up in the lead.
And the Mustangs finally tried for a risky play that could have been great if they're able to capitalize on it, but unfortunately it sent both players out of position, and now is a 3-on-1 going on the other end of the things, and the Avalanche are able to secure that one. And this really could be the deciding factor, but Mustangs gonna try and even this one up pretty quick after that first goal.
Yeah, but now we're starting to see a few of those double commits come out again. That's what caused them to lose that first goal. Again, it was Chaotic and Viper both up for the same rebound, and neither of them got a good enough touch on it to give them possession or to keep possession in their hands. And now less than 30 seconds left. They have to try and find a goal to equalize this game too, or we will be all tied up heading into game 3. But these touches right now from the Avalanche, just keeping possession, just keeping it awkward for their opponents, as Jinx finds a great 50. And unless there's a really good transition here downfield, it doesn't feel like the Mustangs are going to be able to get one last opportunity.
Yeah, the Avalanche just had too much pressure there at the end. They were able to take this game 2 and even up this series 1-1. And that game, huge difference from that game 1 from the Mustangs. They really changed up their play style, and unfortunately it did not work out like they hoped for, as they did go into that more passive and just kind of hoping for the best defensively and win out there on the offensive end of things. They were able to hold it down offensively. They ended out with 11 shots on net up against the Avalanche's 7 shots on net, which, you know, at that point, you expect there to be at least one goal when you have 11 shots on net. But unfortunately, they're not able to get any sort of capitalization on there.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hope to shoot, you know, maybe 10% in a game, but no, the Mustangs just off on a few opportunities. I mean, the Avalanche as well. You know, both teams with a ton of shots, but only one goal finding its way in. Accuracy definitely stinging both of them. Heading to game 3, we'll have to see, as the Mustangs, you know, in that game 2, we did see a little bit of straying away from the passes. They weren't looking for the infield cuts for any of those plays, really. They were really trying to play off the backboard, and unfortunately, both these teams, they're quite adept on the backboard. You're not, with teams of this caliber, you know, this high in the standings and obviously this skilled, you're not going to be given those backboard touches, because it is so vital that you defend that, because it's such a terrible position to give up if you're on defense.
Yeah, AAA and AA and majors, you really have at that point you should have confidence on your backboard ability. You should be able to defend it very confidently, but you also need to at least make some sort of play and force the defenders to actually think about that backboard play as well. But they can't overuse it. As you see there, the Avalanche had 2 defenders on their backboard. They kind of stopped that offensive pressure immediately as they were the Mustangs were looking to play it off that backboard and try to get the pass towards midfield.
Yeah, it was normally what you might think a little bit of as a double commit. You had Viper going up for the flip reset, obviously. You want one player to challenge that immediately, and then the second one can come through and get the clear, which is what did end up happening. As the first minute is going to go by with no real action happening, a few shots here and there. This might be another one, but Mar can't place it away. Jinx with the follow-up is just off. Viper will finally get this out as, again, the Avalanche so close, but so far away.
Yeah, both these teams they just haven't had the accuracy that we've seen throughout the season. They've been struggling to find the back of the net or even find the net in general, as it seems like almost every play is off the back wall or off the side of the net.
Hero playing this one around, won't be able to get too much more done with it as, you do have to give a bit of credit to the midfield defense of both these teams. It's not just accuracy being, a little bit off for both sides, but there is a bit that goes into it about how the defense positions the ball and their challenges that makes it as awkward as possible for those shots to find their way onto net. And both teams have been doing a decent job at that, but it is mostly just shot selection, I think, for both sides. You can see they're trying to force through the first or second opportunity that they see without really trying to get a better touch to make it easier for a teammate to come through and find the goal.
Yeah, and we do want to see a good clear here out of the Avalanches. They've kind of been sitting in their own zone here for a little bit, and Coffee's able to get that one there. But they need to find these passing plays at midfield and in this offensive zone. They're really struggling with these passing plays, and that's Mar there to Jinx, and just like that, they get the passing plays under control, and they're able to get the back of the net as Jinx secures that one here on his 4th shot.
And I mean, the difference there is Mar just doesn't bang the ball on net or towards the backboard. As soon as he gets possession, he realizes that he has a great challenge, waits it out, gets possession, forces the challenge to come out, and then passes it in. And his teammate just has a very nice shot there, Jinx placing it away. And once again, the Avalanche going to start themselves with the 1-goal lead. This time, though, there's a bit more time to work with for the Mustangs, but that's a dangerous position. Hero will eventually find the save, and now we're going to have to see if the Mustangs can try and get back into this game, but you can't give up shots like that. No one up to challenge it, and Coffee puts away the 2nd goal.
Yeah, and as soon as the Avalanche get some sort of momentum going, now they're able to secure their goals and get these shots on net. And another pass there from Mar to Coffee, and Coffee's able to secure that one. And it seems like this could be the Achilles heel for the Mustangs. They're not really able to handle these offensive midfield passes right now.
Is this ball going to find its way into the corner? 2 minutes left in the game, and while it is a bit of time to work with, you do have to consider, the pace of play that we've been seeing, and it has been very arduous here for the Mustangs to find their way out of their own half. The clears have not been consistent enough, and the midfield touches right now from the Avalanche is actually really good. We're just seeing the immediate turns and challenges on these clears to try and make it awkward and to really just get in the way on the Mustang getting out of their own half. And these are the changes that you need to see. They are the adaptations that you wanted from the Avalanches. Mustangs will finally get it out, but again, no one really there to try and do anything with it, and it will just be a free clear for their opponents. Minute and 30 seconds left. Still no goal for the Mustangs. They still have 2 to make up. No bump here onto net, but the touch just off the backboard. But again, no third player. Demo came through, and just, I mean, the Mustangs didn't recognize it and went for a play when they had no person to follow up with it.
Yeah, Viper demoed there, but it did take 2 Avalanche players out of the play, and it could have been a great opportunity for the remaining 2 Mustang players, but they're not able to find each other and hook up that passing play to secure that goal, as they both kind of went for solo plays there to get it past the remaining defender on the Avalanche. But now, with 55 seconds left, we really need to see some offensive pressure here out of the Mustangs. They need to secure a goal here quick if they want to get back into this one.
It's a good touch from Chaotic. He should pass this infield to Viper. The right idea, but Just not enough pace on it to get it over the defenders who are challenging. And as this clock ticks down to 30 seconds, that's not a lot of time to work with. You pretty much need a goal right now if you're the Mustangs, and you just don't have possession. You don't have boost control. And with that miss on the, I mean, the longer this ball stays in the air, of course, the less and less opportunities you're going to have. And right now, the Avalanche just doing a great job of killing time, keeping it in their opponent's half. As we approach this final 10 seconds, that should be it for game number 3. As I say that, Chaotic finds an absolute banger off the sidewall, and Viper manages to clean it up for their first goal.
Yeah, and while this game might be a little bit too out of reach for them to come back in this one, as it will have to be coming off of a kickoff goal, they do have that momentum going into game 4, so they don't want to end on a bad note here. They don't want to get too pressure and allow another goal out from the Avalanche, and Heroes ties it up.
Hero making the plays. I mean, how many times has he scored a clutch goal like this? Just how? How do you even get that touch? Hero. Yeah. I don't know what you're made of to read that.
That was a great angle coming out from Hero. Inches away from the net, inches away from the crossbar. Most players would just bang it off the crossbar, not knowing where to place that one, but he's able to get just a tiny bit of touch on that ball and accurately place it directly under the crossbar.
Mustangs here trying to give themselves some life, trying to give themselves a chance here in this series. The Avalanche aren't a team that you want to be down 1-2. And if they can get that advantage into game number 4, I mean, all it takes is just, a few lucky chances, a good shot or two, and you suddenly find yourself winning that game, going up 3-1, getting the win in the series. That's a nice shot, but Coffee's in position. Not a good save, though. And Hero making the hero plays. It doesn't matter if it's 2 seconds left in regulation or 32 seconds into overtime. He finds 2 consecutive goals, and the Mustangs steal away game number 3.
Yeah, and with the last minute of play from the Mustangs, they entirely changed up their presence on the field. They became much more active offensively and had these rotations and these strong clears into the offensive zone and really changed up that entire game. Going into the last 45 seconds, you really thought this was the Avalanche's game to lose, and they had a solid look at winning that game. But the Mustangs holding strong and able to find the back of the net to secure that overtime win.
I mean, just an incredible game there as Mustangs up 2-1 now. One more win. I mean, again, just one good game is all it takes for them. Good defense like we saw from Viper here. 4 saves, got himself a savior medal alongside Coffee. A few lucky shots. All it takes is one goal to win a game. We saw that in game 2 for the Avalanche. The same can be done for the Mustangs, and they can get themselves the upset here. They can hand the Avalanche their first loss of the season. But again, it all comes down to this next 5 minutes of Rocket League, and the Avalanche, their second loss of the season. They're 9-1. They're not 10-0. Those were the Wildebeests. The Wildebeests also lost, so we might be seeing 2 teams here that might have been the favorites dropping down. We'll have to see. Avalanche not a team to go down without a fight, and they have 5 minutes here to try and hold on to get themselves one last chance to go to game number 5. And the Mustangs, well, if you can win it in 4, that's an absolutely great place to be to set yourself looking forward into the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I think that momentum coming off that last 45 seconds in that game, it could be too much to handle for the Avalanche. The Mustangs must be feeling so confident, able to find 3 goals within 30 seconds or so. And, they are looking so strong. If they're able to find their ways and get back into that play style that they had within those last few seconds or game 1, they could really just be too much to handle for the Avalanche.
My game did crash, so I'm loading back in.
All right. Well, so far, we do have some pressure coming out from the Avalanche as Mars able to keep that one back into the corner. And now we could have a turn of events here as the Mustangs looking for a big clear, but Mars going to cut this one off at midfield. Looking for a pass to mid at Coffee, not able to pick that one up. And I'll hand things back over to you.
I'm back. Steam decided to work. It's actually Rocket League that just kind of, I don't know why. It's the only game on my PC that decides, hey, you know what? I don't want to work. It's just, and I can't figure out why. It's not framed. It's not anything like that. Chaotic gets a great touch.
No.
Oh, and the fake out. 2 Avalanche players going for it. Mar and Coffee, or sorry, Jinx and Coffee. Oh, you hate to